Hey guys, all right, so we are going to do our science today. So we are talking about the earth and the sun and how we end up with night and day. So we know that, we have daytime when the sun's out and we have nighttime when the moon and the stars are out. But we might not know exactly why that happens. So there are two pieces to this that are important to know. And those vocabulary words would be rotation and revolution. So the Earth, when it spins on its axis, that's a rotation, right? But as the planet moves around, then that's a rotation. And so we are constantly spinning and also doing a revolution. So we have a rotation and we have a revolution all the time. It's a little tricky to show via video. In class, we would have had some models and some experiments and some acting out involved, but try to just kind of picture it. They do have videos that will help as well. So because of this, we're spinning, and basically when the sun is shining on one part of the planet, then that's daytime, and the other side of the planet doesn't have the sun shining, so that's nighttime. So as we rotate, where daytime is happening changes, right? Because the sun is shining at a different spot on the planet during that time. That's kind of why we tend to feel like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And so early in the morning, we see the sun coming from the east, and then late at night, we see the sun coming from the west. And then in the middle of the day, it's like overhead, right? It's pretty close. So Earth rotates on its axis once every 24 hours. So that's how we end up with 24 hours in a day. And when the Earth has the sun shining on it, when Indiana has the sun shining on it, it's daytime. But for everything that's on the other side of the Earth from us, it's night. And then when they have daytime, we have night. So that rotation is really what causes our days and nights. We talked about that. A lot of this, honestly, to me that's pretty much summed up. So I'll kind of touch on a couple of cool facts that they share with you, but the biggest point here is really to understand that the Earth rotates, and those rotations are what causes day and night because it changes where the sun is shining. So one thing that they talk about is the length of the days, and scientists say that we're turning slower and slower all the time because of the moon's pull on the Earth. But the crazy part about that is that it's slowing down so minutely that we would never ever notice. So they said that in about 100 years, they think the days will be 2 milliseconds longer. So not a speed change that we would ever notice, but it does happen. Because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, your cities that are farther east, like say New York City, they're going to have sunrise before we would. They're farther and closer to the east. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So because the Earth spins, that's why we have day and night, but we don't notice it spinning because we move along with it. We are also spinning with the Earth, so we don't necessarily notice that it's spinning, but we know the Earth is rotating because we see the sun going in the sky, because we see the stars and moons coming out. Those are things that let us know that the Earth is rotating. So the planet rotates at a speed of 1,000 miles per hour, which seems pretty crazy fast. But because we're moving with it, we really don't notice it. It's kind of like when you're up in a plane. That plane is traveling crazy fast, but when you look outside the window, it doesn't look like you're traveling that fast at all because you're traveling with it. So it just kind of changes your perspective on those things. Think about when we went to the Kennedy Center, the planetarium, and they had us locate the North Star a few times, and how the North Star always seemed to stay exactly where it was and everything moved around it. Well, remember, that's because the Earth's axis that it turns on, the North Star is directly above that. So it always looks like it's in the same place while everything else looks like it's turning around it because we're rotating. And I think we'll just go over our key concepts and then we'll be done. It'll be a short video today. So the cycle of day and night is caused by the Earth rotating on its axis once every 24 hours. When one side of the Earth faces the sun, it's day. The opposite side is having night, and then it switches. And the Earth's rotation makes the sun, the stars, and planets all look like they're moving, but really it's us. We're the ones that are moving. All right. I hope that helps. Bye, guys.